All right, let's crack the code on a topic that trips up so many people: positive and negative numbers. You know, signed integers.
I mean, have you ever looked at a math problem just filled with minus signs and thought, what is even happening here? If you have, trust me, you are not alone. It can totally feel like the rules are intentionally tricky and make no sense.
But what if I told you it's actually way simpler than you think? It turns out all you really need are two master keys, and by the end of this little explainer, you're going to have them. You'll be able to look at any of these problems and just know what to do.
Okay, so let's dive into our first key. This one unlocks the world of addition and subtraction. And to make it all click, we're just going to think about one thing: money.
This is the whole foundation, right here. From now on, every time you see a positive number, that's income, money you have. And every time you see a negative number, that's debt, money you owe. That's it. This simple little switch in your brain makes the whole thing intuitive.
So with this money idea in your head, when you're adding numbers, it's not really just addition. It's more like a battle of the signs. Your income is going head-to-head with your debt. So who wins the battle?
Well, if the signs are the same, like you're adding two incomes or maybe two debts, they're on the same team. You just add them up and keep the sign. Easy. But if the signs are different, if you've got income and debt, then they fight. You just subtract the smaller number from the bigger one, and the answer takes the sign of whichever number was, heavier to start with. If you had more debt than income, you're still in debt. Makes sense, right?
All right, you ready for this? Let's talk subtraction. Because here's the secret, and it's a big one. You never, ever actually have to subtract integers. No, really, it's all a trick.
The secret weapon for this first world is this little three-step process called Keep, Change, Change, or KCC. This is an absolutely amazing tool that lets you turn every single one of those tricky subtraction problems into a simple addition problem. And we already know how to handle those.
Let's see how it works. Let's say you've got the problem 4 minus negative 2. So first you keep the 4, don't touch it. Next, you change the minus sign to a plus sign. And finally, you change the sign of that second number so negative 2 becomes a positive 2. And just like that, your problem is now 4 plus 2, which is obviously 6. KCE is your best friend here. It works every single time.
Okay, deep breath. We've got addition and subtraction down. Now we're going to switch gears and step into a completely different world. This one has its own separate set of rules, and it's for multiplication and division.
And listen, this part is so important. You have to forget everything we just said about money. Just throw it out the window for a minute. It does not apply here. But the good news? These new rules are way, way simpler. So take a look at this. You can see the pattern right away, can't you? A positive times a positive is a positive, no surprise there. But here's the cool part. A negative times a negative is also a positive. The only time you get a negative answer is when the two signs are different.
So what does that all mean? It means we can just boil this whole thing down to one beautifully simple rule. For multiplication and division, if the signs are the same, your answer is positive. If the signs are different, your answer is negative. That's it. That is the entire second key.
All right, so now you've got the two keys for the two different worlds. Let's talk about the common traps people fall into so you can just waltz right past them.
There's one mistake that causes, I'd say, 90% of the confusion with this stuff. What do you think it is? Yep, it's mixing up the rules for the two worlds we just learned about.
This is it. The number one trap is trying to use that same signs equals positive rule when you're doing addition. You see something like negative 3 plus negative 4, and your brain shouts, two negatives, it must be positive. But no, that rule only applies to multiplication and division. Remember, addition and subtraction live in the world of money, where adding two debts just gives you one bigger debt.
And trap number 2. Oh, the dreaded double negative in subtraction. When you see 5 minus negative 3, it just looks weird. But what is it really saying in our money world? It means you are taking away a debt. And hey, getting rid of a debt is a good thing, right? It's like getting money. And our keep, change, change rule proves it. 5 minus negative 3 becomes 5 plus 3, which is just 8.
Okay, so let's wrap this all up. See? You don't have to memorize a dozen random confusing rules. You just have to ask yourself one simple question. Which world am I in? It all comes down to this. These are your two keys to success. When you see a problem, first check the operation. Is it addition or subtraction? Okay, you're in the world of money. Think income versus debt. Is it multiplication or division?
Now you're in the world of signs. All you have to ask is, are the signs the same or are they different?
And that's really it. By just separating the logic into these two distinct worlds, you've taken something that feels really complicated and made it simple, predictable. You've got the keys. So the only question left is, what doors are you going to unlock with them first?